I like how lately I've only been on a podcast like once a month, and it's always on a Tuesday.
And that's Nick improvising and singing for you guys. Yes, not only do we have Nick on a podcast, but in video form as well.
In a full HD, baby.
So,
Oh my
what's
god.
going on, everybody? This is the Hangout with Tim and Nick podcast where we just shoot the shit, talk about a lot of stuff. Sometimes we make graphics, sometimes we don't. I was going to do Extreme Rules graphics, but I don't have a good copy of the new logo yet. Every copy I found looks like garbage. So, we're just going to talk about some stuff. We got a few topics we might hit. Nick, what's been going on with you?
What's been going on with me is that recently my mom invested in a Ring doorbell.
Uh-oh.
And I've had the most fun with two things. Number one, scaring the shit out of my parents when they're at the door. And they because they're old and they take forever with their keys because they can't see, I guess. And you can turn on like a phone and you can talk to people through the app. And I'll always just scream at them and be like, what are you doing? And it's just funny watching my dad jump and look at like the little doorbell and just flip me off through it. It's so fucking funny.
That's funny.
And I also love that there's a section on the app where you can see people, in your neighborhood that also have Ring doorbells.
Oh, yeah, their little community section.
Yeah, a little community section where you could report like, hey, here's a video of a guy that came up to my porch and was like banging on my door at 2 a.m. Look out for him. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But what I love is like the other night someone posted something like, did anyone hear that large boom by this park in this park? What was that? And I think someone just commented like, I shot off some fucking fireworks, leave me alone, or something like that. And it's just all the comment sections are just full of like weird minor complaints that people are just making fun of other people for complaining about. I have 2 drinks here. I have a Red Bull that I drank at like 2 p.m. today, and I have the Monster I'm drinking now.
I have Monster, cold, but it's got like 1 sip left in it.
Chug it. Let's take a look at the chat and let's say hello to George J. Cox, who's here. Ashton Tyler's here. Willie's Network. Nico Bellic. GTA 4 was the worst one. Eric Tate's here as well. Hey, man.
So you were saying Saturday. You like on the Ring doorbell app where they got the little community thing for people in your area. Here's a pro tip for you. If you don't have a Ring doorbell but want something like that, or you can keep plugged in with your community and like things going on in your neighborhood, get the Nextdoor app.
Mm-hmm. We used to use that here.
Yeah, you get the Nextdoor app. You set up what neighborhood you live in your city, and then people can just post like, hey, why was there an abundance of cop cars out last night? Why did I hear like someone recently, I think it was like last Friday, was like, hey, just posting to ask if anybody knows why there were like 20 cop cars passing over by the park yesterday. And I was like, dang, I didn't even hear it.
I like the idea of like, damn, 20 cops?
I live across the street from the park too.
I was going to say, I've been to your place. Like, I've seen cops go down that street out your window. Like, yeah. How do you not hear that, Tim? What do you do?
I don't know. They didn't give a time, so maybe I was asleep.
You could have been. Thanks, Ashton Tyler, for the fat $20. Tim rules. Nick is okay. Welcome back. Thanks, man. I'll take it.
So yeah, that's a pro tip if you want to be not locked in, but like clued in with your community and your neighborhood. Get the Nextdoor app. It's available on all phones and tablets and stuff.
Especially if you're like me, because I like to go for walks kind of late at night, just because like I get bored or like skate late at night or ride my bike. So it's always nice to know like, oh shoot, there's some stuff in my area. Maybe like I'm not going to go out tonight or something like that.
And you don't even need to technically have the app, because if once you sign up on the app, you could set up your notifications to go to email. And so you can just see all the things through your email if you ever delete the app but still want to, get the notifications and everything.
Nice. Durate says, what's up, Nick? How's it been going? Pretty okay. I'm not going to lie. I've been doing okay. I've been like mad busy with the not knowing when I'm going to go back to work. But I got a final date now, which is nice.
That's cool.
And George Cox says, Nick, let's get high. If you ask.
So tell everybody what happened with you having to go to the hospital recently.
Oh, good Lord. So went to the beach, some friends,
Were you social
And
distanced from everybody else?
no, we were in our bubbles. We were relatively social distance, but at some points we weren't. It's fucking
Well, I mean,
silly.
like, did you stay with your group and not like go?
Oh yeah, we were like everyone. It was kind of like everyone was just kind of scattered along the beach.
Gotcha.
There was no one that was really close except for the people. Even the people that were surfing were like 6 feet apart too. It was real cute. And I just went to lift someone up, and I lifted them from my side, and I felt a pinch, and I was like, this is wildly uncomfortable. So at one, I'm just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, I gotta go to the bathrooms, and it's a pretty long walk to this bathroom.
Right.
And I start walking there, and like, walking on sand. By the way, I was kind of drunk too.
Uh-oh.
Walking on sand is hard. Walking on sand drunk is harder.
Oh yeah.
And like, it was just my lower right side, and I narrowed it down to probably the muscle that connects my last rib to my fucking hip. That got probably pinched or twisted or
Ooh.
something. And so every step with my right foot felt like 9,000 pounds of pain on my lower back. To the
Yikes.
point where like I had to stop walking, and I had my phone out, and I dialed 911, and I was just holding it there. Like, I don't know if I can actually make it A, to the bathroom, and then B, all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
I did, but god damn it, I was in so much pain. Got home that night, barely slept. The next day, could not walk, could not do any kind of movements, couldn't sit in my fucking chair. All I could do was stand up.
Oh wow.
I was just standing in my bedroom, pacing back and forth, stretching and watching like TV or YouTube on my computer. Or like I would play Destiny by just standing and kind of like awkwardly hunched. It's just fucking awful. Finally, and then that second night, did not sleep a single fucking ounce, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was up all night. I was like crying in pain. I called my mom. I was like, I can't move. Can you please bring me a naproxen? Because I had naproxen down. So I was like, can you bring me some? Because I can't fucking move my body. And I was like in tears. I took the pain medicine. This is probably at like 9 p.m. And then from 9 to I went to the hospital at maybe 10 in the morning. I was just standing.
Ew.
And it was just awful. And then they got me in, they took x-rays. They're like, nothing's too like awful, but it's probably just your muscle. You probably really messed it up. They gave me a shot on the left lower side of my back because they needed to get in like deep in there.
Right.
As soon as they gave me that shot, I could lay down with virtually no pain. I still felt a little bit, but it was like I could do this all day.
Right.
And then they came out and they gave me Valium, which is like a muscle relaxer. They gave me a pretty heavy dosage of it because I told them I haven't slept in like 2 days. So they gave me a pretty heavy dosage. They said I might get drowsy. I get a prescription for some pain medicine and some more muscle relaxers if I need them. I go home, and at about I'm up for another couple hours. I drank 2 Red Bulls because I did not sleep at all last night, and I felt like if I fell asleep when I got home at like 1 o'clock, I would have woken up at maybe 10 or 11, and I would not have gone back to bed, and that would have been another night of no sleep, and I would have just felt awful.
Right.
So I forced myself to do shit, and also to do shit that stretched out my back while I had the medicine going through me, which was kind of like getting the pain away. So I was doing a lot of like I did my fucking laundry, and I was stretching, and I was like I forced myself to finally clean my goddamn room. That was my motivation, was just not sleeping. And then at like 6 p.m., I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna play Animal Crossing and lay down. Oh shit, what do you mean it's 10 p.m. now? I fucking fell asleep. I woke up at 10. I went outside and I smoked a J, or a joint for people that don't smoke. I smoked a joint to kind of just like make me feel a little tired. And then next thing you know, it was 6 a.m. and I felt so much better. And every day since then, it's been getting slowly like I can move a little bit better. I can sit in my chair for longer than 2 minutes without wanting to cry, and I can sleep. And those are the big things.
Well, that's good that you're feeling better.
Yeah, and I got some real good ibuprofen that kind of kills any minor pain now that I get. Because I still get, like, I've always had bad back. Because I just fucking, when I was skating younger, I didn't really care about my body, so I would, like, throw it and, like, fall and shit.
Oh, trust me, I've done that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a good
Tr-
skateboarder, so you can imagine how many times I fell.
So yeah, don't lift people from a bad position. Set your feet, lift with your back, not your legs. Just throw your back out. Fuck it. George John Cox says, "Are you okay? I'm getting better." Sinclair's asking what Tim was telling me about earlier. Actually, EC3 they kind of are teasing his return to Impact.
Yeah, so tonight on Impact Wrestling, Moose defeated Hernandez, I believe it was. And then you would think Moose's music plays after they count the 3, but EC3's music played. And they made a big deal on commentary that, oh my God, does this mean EC3 could be coming back to Impact?
Wait, his fucking trouble theme?
No, I think it was a different one because I didn't hear them say trouble, trouble, trouble in the theme.
Did he have 2 TNA themes? The only TNA theme I remember him having was the trouble one.
Hold on. Let me pull up the clip.
Trouble. That song fucking sucked. That's the question I asked you earlier. That's probably one of the worst, right? Like we made a list of the best, but that was probably the worst. One of. It's not fucking.
Did you hear that?
This might be part of the trouble theme, but just not the trouble part.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
what do you think? I
don't see why he wouldn't.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I never thought EC3 was that special. Like I thought he was fine.
He was really good in Impact. NXT used him good enough, but never in a great way. And then when he had a match with Ambrose that shit the bed, Vince was just like, yeah, this guy's never going anywhere with me. Because Vince's whole thought was, how can you have a bad match with Ambrose?
It's true.
And he did. So Vince blamed it on him.
I've never thought he was a real, one of those standout guys.
I
really
mean,
standout
for
wrestlers,
Impact,
you know
he
what I mean?
was, especially at the time
Right.
he was there, because he was on the level of a Kurt Angle at that time. Like, he was pretty equal to Kurt. And he beat Kurt for the TNA title at one point.
Really?
But I feel
guess
like
I didn't watch.
I feel like his character and the work he was doing at that time was on par with what Kurt Angle was doing in the company.
Because didn't Impact, they teased a handful of the like all of the WWE releases, or
So
at
they
least all the
teased-
ones that didn't sign anywhere else.
So actually they updated that video today. So they teased originally. I got it here because I was talking to a friend about the updated video that they sent out. Where is it?
What's going on, gamer? How's it going, man?
So originally they teased. I'm probably gonna miss one. Eric Young, and they showed footage of all these people except for Rusev because there's no non-WWE footage of Rusev. They just showed a Bulgarian flag. But they showed Eric Young, Rusev, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Spud, who we know can't go there because he's re-signed with WWE. They showed Mike and Maria. I think I said EC3 already.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Myers, which is the former Kurt Hawkins.
That'd be cool. Ryder.
And no, because I don't think there's any really non-WWE footage of Ryder out there they could have used to where he looks similar to he looks now. Because back in the day before he came to WWE, he looked completely different. He had the long hair and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they updated the video today for today's episode, where it was the same guy talking on like a news thing. But before they showed the released WWE superstars, they said one former world champion is coming back at Slammiversary. And they showed Kurt Angle, EC3, Eric Young, Chris Sabin, Sting, James Storm. I have it written down here, but I can't find the message I sent.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, but they showed James Storm, a bunch of different former world champions. And, here it is. So they showed Angle, Eric Young, Mr. Anderson, Storm, James Storm, Austin Aries, Chris Sabin, EC3, and Bully Ray, when they said a former world champion will be coming back. Then they talked about the releases, and they showed all those people I mentioned, but added in with the releases a shot of Leo Rush, another shot of Kurt Angle, extra shots of Gallows and Anderson, and Sting.
Okay, so I have a question. I was almost I'm pretty sure everyone thinks that, and at least Anderson was going back to Japan.
mean, he's teased it.
And he's just
But
been
he
talking
can't
about
right,
it
and
everywhere.
he can't right now, though, because they're not using anybody that lives outside the country.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Because they're
true. So
running
you think,
shows again. They've run 2 shows since coming back. And they've stated that they will not be using anybody that lives outside of Japan. So that's why there's no Juice Robinson in the New Japan Cup, no Will Ospreay, no Rocky Romero. So a lot of
okay.
those guys are not being used, even though, well, no, because Will Ospreay got a place in Japan to live, but when the pandemic happened and everything started getting shut down, I think he went back to the UK to quarantine himself there with family.
I have a question.
I might have an answer.
Rusev,
Miro?
how do you think someone like him would do not in WWE?
Better than he ever was in WWE?
You think so?
I
Because
do.
that's I want to believe that, I really do, but then I also worry that like Rusev knew how to mess with the WWE audience to where I think that's why he was so special. But I don't know. I don't know.
I think
I think he's really good. Like even his Twitch
yeah.
streams are fucking funny. He's a funny guy.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
I assume he's gonna do good, but like will he do like I don't know. Well, how do you think it's gonna fare out
It depends
if he
on where
goes
he
to somewhere
goes.
like
Impact will probably make him a top guy. I could see Impact using him as a top guy. I don't know if, I mean, eventually if he stays there long enough, he'll get the world title, I think. But I don't think right off the bat or anything. If he goes to
I think
if he goes to AEW, that's going to be the tougher one. Because I think if anybody now goes to AEW, it's going to be tougher because they've, in the last year, established their roster and who their guys are. So now if anybody goes to AEW, it's going to be hard to put them in the mix unless they're like fucking, I don't know, Randy Orton.
you don't think Rusev or Miro is a big enough name to kind of come into AEW and at least even in the midst of like their established people, you don't think he could come in and just kind of like not like you don't think
He
he'd
would
fit in
do
very
well.
well?
He would do well. I'm not saying he wouldn't do well, but I feel like they've already got their established guys on who they're going to push and everything. And I
Do
feel
they?
like they've got the right size roster for what they're producing show wise. And so adding more people will just be like, when are you going to use these extra people? How often is he going to get TV time? Because yes, they got AW Dark, which is an hour. They got Dynamite, which is 2 hours. They might be getting a third show. But the issue is, and WWE has this issue. You have too many people on the roster, and then you start having weeks where guys don't get used, and then you're like, oh, we haven't seen this guy in a while, or what happened to that guy, or oh, where's he? Like Joey Janela, where's he
Well, I
been?
think
Now they're doing some sort of thing with him and Sonny Kiss.
I think that's where if your fans like your product enough, like AEW fans like AEW enough to where they'll go watch Dark, I think that's where that's their main event, I guess.
But here's the issue with that.
What's the issue with
If
that?
you take
Tim?
Rusev coming off of WWE and put him on Dark, fans are going to think, oh, they just see him as a random job, you know.
No. You can debut him on a Dynamite, and you can have him
I
do
just feel like they
some
don't need to be
things on
signing.
Dynamite.
I just feel like they don't
well,
need
you
to be
got
signing too many more people right now.
especially ex-WWE guys.
Ex-WWE guys that didn't leave on their own.
I think they gotta keep working with their homegrown people and just keep.
Because getting FTR was fine because we knew they wanted out for a year and a half. Getting Brody Lee was fine because he wanted out. He asked to leave. Guys like that, let me finish this sentence real fast. Yeah. Guys like that, I feel like will be okay to go to AEW because it won't be like, oh, they're the WWE rejects. WWE didn't want them anymore, so AEW took them to try and get that nostalgia pop. But with guys that just got released that weren't looking to leave, they're going to have that stigma. They were just released from WWE, so AEW is just picking up the scraps, trying to get that WWE pop. You know what I'm saying? Get the guys that didn't want to be in WWE, and so it doesn't seem like you'll just sign anybody. You'll only sign people that didn't want to be there, that wanted to try something different, not that are now forced to try something different.
I don't know. I really want someone like Rusev and a lot of the like Zack Ryder and the mid card guys who were really good WWE guys who like did not deserve to get released.
Right.
But even though they did want it, it was one of those things like at the way it happened and the circumstances, it was just that's kind of a dirty way.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't very very business friendly, but I want to see guys like those do really fucking good. And
Well,
I'm
right.
glad that like Rusev, or I keep calling him Rusev. I'm glad that Miro is really good with like community shit and like
Yeah.
social media, and he's really good with that to where I don't worry about him. But like, it's gonna be weird for like the first few months watching a guy like Zack Ryder wrestle anywhere else in the world.
And he's
It's
not going to be
just
called Zack Ryder.
yeah, it's
He's
just
Matt
gonna be
Cardona. And but he said on the Jericho podcast, this was almost a blessing in disguise because he got complacent in WWE and hasn't really ever done anything else. So now he can go out there and explore and see what else there is in pro wrestling. Because him and Hawkins started at the same school in New York. And I think they were only there for like 6 months to a year before they signed with WWE. And they didn't go anywhere else other than the school they were trained at and do shows there. So he's kind of like, I get to go and I get to be who I want to be more than I was in WWE and explore and learn new things that I couldn't learn there. Whether he goes back eventually or not is to be seen. I mean, we've seen plenty of guys get released to come back, like Jinder Mahal and Kurt Hawkins.
well, yeah, we've seen guys get released and come back, but what happened to them?
I mean, Jinder became WWE champion.
Yeah, we had the guys released and came back. One of your examples was Kurt Hawkins, who just fucking got re-released.
Do you know that if Jinder didn't have to undergo knee surgery last week, he was supposed to be Jinder Mahal, or no, Drew McIntyre's next WWE title challenger?
I would have been okay with that.
They teased it for like 2 weeks, too.
Drew McIntyre sure could carry
Almost anybody?
Jinder Mahal. Yeah, almost anybody. I think Drew McIntyre is one of those guys where, like, how can you not have a good match with Drew?
Right.
Like, Drew's so good. Drew's
The only way I can see somebody not having a good match is if, like, they're, like, too small to work with him, like a Drake Maverick maybe, and, like, it just looks awkward.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I think Drew is the perfect world champion. I think that was such a good choice.
And it was reported, I think, today that he and Lashley actually asked to work together because they felt that their stuff in TNA that they did together was so good that they can bring that to WWE and it would deliver.
I wouldn't say it delivered, but I think it did just fine. I think it reestablished the fact that I just wish Lana wasn't kind of involved in it and make it kind of
more.
Well, I know that, but when those like the initial times where she was
right,
it really made my belief in Lashley go down because I'm like, oh man, that's not Lashley.
True, but
not
I mean,
fun.
their backlash match before it got to the last 2 minutes and the finish was really good. The finish was crap with Lana coming out and distracting him, and then all that bull crap. But the match itself as a whole was pretty good.
And yeah, I wasn't on the fucking Backlash review, but I ended up watching Backlash the next day.
Because every time I ask, are you watching the pay-per-view? No, maybe I'll watch it later.
Yeah, because I never I got so much shit to do, and it's just so much I haven't given a shit about WWE. They haven't let me give a shit. They called it the greatest wrestling match ever. I fucking hate it.
The match was pretty dang good once it got going after the first 10 minutes, and the last 30 minutes, were good.
The match was fine. I wish they didn't have Christian come out yesterday. I don't know why I know why they got him involved, but you didn't have to do the match way. You didn't, unless he's going to have an actual
match.
That's
what I'm thinking. But according to Dave Meltzer last night on his podcast, he kept saying Christian's not cleared. Christian's not cleared. So
it's probably clear to hands-on combat with.
I don't know what's going on with that. But Booker T went on his podcast and goes, Christian's going to have that bug. Christian's going to want to wrestle an actual match. I could see Christian asking for a match at Extreme Rules after doing that quick thing with Randy Orton last night. I'm like, Booker, yeah, dude, who knows if he's even actually cleared to do a full match.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, another one of those guys were like, Christian was fucking cool and shit.
Well, I've always heard.
Why are people acting like this is the greatest comeback in wrestling? It's fucking Christian.
But
he
here's
came
the thing.
back once already. It sucked.
I've always heard that when a guy works with Christian, you know you're going to get a solid match. Christian will always deliver, no matter who he works with, and he's the type of guy that could pull out a decent to good match with a bad worker. Like he's the. I heard one wrestler, I can't remember who it was, in a podcast one time say Christian was probably the most reliable guy in WWE to know that he would go in there and not fuck anything up.
He's another guy that I want. We should do maybe like some kind of history video on, or just kind of like a look at his career, because I think he just played like little brother to Edge his whole fucking career, and finally when it was his turn, literally not a fucking person believed in him. But fuck, he still did good.
Well, I mean, they split him up. They put Edge on SmackDown. He went to Raw. He did some stuff there. Teamed with Jericho. Ran around naked in the building at one point.
Haven't we all? Haven't we all?
They were legit. Jericho said it on a podcast. They were legit naked.
Nice, dude.
When they got the towels ripped off them, had to run in front of the audience.
Nice.
They were told, yeah, we're going to rip clothes off. You're going to be naked. And Jericho's like, how's that supposed to work in front of people? And Pritchard, I guess, told him it was just like, figure it out. You're going to be naked.
Nice.
Just tuck it in, brother.
His TNA shit was good.
Christian Cage is one of my favorite wrestlers in the history of TNA Impact Wrestling.
He's a pretty good wrestler.
I
enjoy Christian quite a bit.
When he managed the Christian Coalition and he had AJ and Tom Co as his guys. That shit was great. I like I said, Christian and AJ Styles are probably my two favorite guys to ever work in TNA.
They're pretty good. They're pretty fucking good.
Christian Cage was great. Fucking worked WWE Cyber Sunday or whatever it was, and then that next week showed up at it was the next week. Showed up at the fucking TNA pay-per-view, and I'm signed with the company.
Hey, we could do that. That's a video. We could talk about. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Because I want to process my thoughts before I go through it. But yeah, I really hope it leads to Christian having a match if that's how they're going to do it. And if they just said that, like, I don't like that they were like, Christian's going to have a match. And he came out in street clothes.
Bell to Bella went 60 seconds exactly.
It was just stinky. But on the bright side, what came with that, and it came at Backlash as well, is the greatest fucking finishing move in professional wrestling history.
The punt?
The fucking punt.
Oh, I love the punt.
It's the most legit finishing move there is. It is the most legit one because people can sell that like Edge sold it great. Christian sold it so fucking good last night.
Yeah, like I'm dead.
He went like limp to a point where I was like, do you think he might actually be in fucking chronic pain right now and he is just numb?
And Orton
like I was
doing the whole, I didn't want to do it, but you made me do it. I'm sorry. Hey, doctor, EMT, take care of this guy. Make sure he gets the proper. He's just like, you better take care of him. You know, he's got a bad this and that. But you made me do it, Christian. I didn't want to do this. You made me do this. And then you probably didn't see the video they put on YouTube when they were pulling Christian actually out of the ring. And Orton held the stretcher steady while they pulled him out of the ring on the board. And then Orton like helped tie him up on the stretcher or whatever and was like, they're going to take care of you, bud. They're going to take care of you. But you know, you didn't have to come out here and make me do this to you. I was like, fuck.
You know, Randy Orton,
when I enjoy. Cares, he's on. When he doesn't care, know. When he doesn't care, you know that he's just like, fuck it. I need my 1.5 million.
I feel like it's at least like a 80-20 split where 80% of the time he cares, 20% of the time he just doesn't care.
Oh, I'd go more like 60-40.
Yeah, you're probably right.
60 he cares, 40% of the time he's just like, fuck, what do you want me to do? Okay, I'll go out there and do it. But when you could tell there's two different versions of Randy Orton. There's, I like this story, I'm going to go all in. And then there's, all right, what am I scheduled to do tonight? Oh, 20 minutes. Then I'm done. Get a shower and go. Okay.
I think bringing the punt back was the best thing.
Now, how
I
long are
think
they going to
if
keep it back, though? Is it
I
just
hope
for
they
Edge and
fucking
Christian? Or is it.
I don't care. I hope they keep it, even if it is just for Edge and Christian. Then they never use it again. Then they reused it perfectly, and they never have to do it again. They reused
Right.
it perfectly. I think if they're going to keep it for Orton, that would be fantastic. It's so good.
Also,
So good.
I don't think, and I was told that this is probably a thing, Orton didn't say, I don't need a world title to be relevant on purpose. He's going to eventually challenge McIntyre for the WWE title.
Yeah.
Because he said, I don't need the WWE title or a world title to be relevant. And I was told that he didn't say that just to say it. There was a reason.
I think Drew McIntyre, if Randy Orton cares about this feud, Drew McIntyre can come out of this. He's going to come out still champion, but he is going to come out so fucking strong after beating Orton, because Orton is so fucking good, and both of those guys are great on the mic too, which helps. And so everything's leading up to it. I feel like it won't be a boring feud when it gets there, because I feel like both guys can carry themselves. If Randy's alone one week, or if Drew is doing the promo that week, or they're both there and they're in, it's gonna be fucking fun. I hope that goes a while.
Back in the day,
what's up?
I know it's JBL used to say this, but others have said it too. When you look at what a pro wrestler needs to look at, act like, and be, the model is Randy Orton. JBL used to say it all the time, and people would actually agree with JBL in saying that. And now, who do people say that about? Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's got the perfect look, the perfect delivery, the perfect mic skills. He's like the new model. You got Randy Orton. I'm not saying Randy Orton's the old model, but he's like one.
No, he's industry fucking standard. He's grandfathered into this shit.
It's like right. He's like, when you need to build a pro wrestler, you look at someone, you try to build another Randy Orton. Now the thing is, when you need to build a pro wrestler, you try to build yourself another Drew McIntyre. Because Drew McIntyre, when he got released from WWE that first time and went out on the indies and worked everywhere and became the king of the indies, basically, he fucking got himself into better shape, bulked himself up. He wasn't as skinny anymore. He just got better on the mic. He was always okay on the mic, but I felt like when he left, for some reason, he got so much better when he worked everywhere around the world. And there you go. And he came back.
Yeah.
And they kind of used him as a lackey for a little too long. But now he's able to go out there and do what he likes doing and being as much himself as you're allowed to be in WWE. And I think Drew McIntyre's probably, I don't know if they'll say it even though he's WWE champion, but I think he's their number one guy right now.
You think he's top guy?
I think they might say Randy Orton coming off of this greatest match ever thing, because they can be like, Randy Orton just had the greatest wrestling match ever. He's our number one star. I think McIntyre, and it's hard to judge with no actual fans because you don't know who's actually getting over with the fans or not. But I feel like babyface McIntyre right now would probably get the biggest pops of anybody, other than maybe Edge, just because of the nostalgia of Edge being back.
Yeah, and I think Drew McIntyre was gone for long enough where when he came back, a lot of the current fans probably don't either remember.
Oh, there's probably a lot of people that watch WWE that saw him come back in NXT and go, this guy looks cool. Then he came to the main roster and thought, this guy looks cool, but why is he Dolph Ziggler's guy? Why is he Baron Corbin's hand? Why is he now working under Braun Strowman? And so when they finally broke him away and had him win the Rumble, unfortunately, all this shit went down. He didn't get that pop at Mania for winning the title, because that place would have went nuts if he beat Brock.
On fucking berserk.
77,000 people in that stadium, and I know they want to try and find a building for SummerSlam where they can bring in like 4,000 fans.
It's depressing.
Well, I mean, you can only run, depending on what state you run in, a certain percentage.
Yeah, I got to figure that out. fucking Friday for my fucking job too.
Because I know NASCAR, they're going to run. They ran with fans this past weekend. They had like not even 500 fans in the stands where they could fit like 80, 90,000 people. But then next weekend, they're going to a track that they can fit 150,000 people. And they're going to bring in 5,000.
Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
Have you been to a NASCAR event, I assume?
I've been to plenty.
Is it better on TV or is it better in person?
It depends.
Because for me personally, with sports like baseball, better to go to than to watch on TV.
I would agree with
Football better to watch on TV than to go to. Hockey, better to go to than to watch on TV. I don't know about NASCAR. I would assume NASCAR, it would be better to watch on TV because you can. I guess you would have a little bit more awareness of what's happening.
Right. So like let's compare it to football. With football, you can watch the football game happening on the field and basically know what's happening with all the different plays. If you're a good enough football fan that know, oh, that's this kind of a play or that's that kind of a play, and you're there live, you can understand without having to hear the commentary or the sideline reporters telling you what's going on. But with NASCAR, because there's so many things that can happen during a race with 40 different people at any given time, 40 different race cars, sometimes you need that commentary and the pit road reporters or the sideline reporters to say, because you can be at a racetrack and someone can be running really, really good, and then all of a sudden they're just running super slow, and you go, whoa, what happened to them? Why are they running slow? Without the commentary and them going to the team and saying, hey, what's going on with your car, then you don't know. But one of the cool things about going to a NASCAR race, you can get what's called a scanner. And a scanner actually allows you to listen to the communication between the driver, the crew, and the spotter for every team. Plus, I believe,
it's cool.
But depending on which version of the scanners you rent, because you rent them out for like $20 for the race, you get not the television commentary, but you get the commentary from the radio, which is two separate commentaries teams. I think you get the radio one, but it's cool because which you can also just pay $26 for the season and get it on your phone through the NASCAR app. But you can get, which is called a scanner, and you can switch between the different teams and listen to their communications with the driver. They're like, hey, we're coming up, you need to pit in 2 laps, or hey, how's the car feel here, or why is this happening? Which is super cool because when can you do that in football? Go and hear, the quarterback talking to the coach in the middle of the game. When can you actually hear that, especially if you're at the race?
You need to watch the fucking broadcast. And I feel like most sports are always better to watch on TV because it's just a more pleasurable viewing experience. Right. But I could see where like baseball you wouldn't want to watch on TV because it's just fucking goddamn it, it's so boring sometimes. But at least at the game, you could just fucking get pissed drunk off $9 beers and everything's at that point, dude.
Yeah. So what I would say about NASCAR, if you're not a major fan and don't know everything about the sport, watch it at home or whatnot. But if you know a lot of stuff, and so you can get the scanner, hear the different things the teams are saying back and forth, and kind of understand that, then that's really fun. I've always loved going to races. And
I want to go to one. I think when the COVID thing ends, I'll definitely try to go.
Trying to think. I know the closest one to you would be Sonoma, which actually would be very fun for you to go to because it's what they call a road course, and it's got left and right hand turns. It's not just a normal oval racetrack.
Oh, nice. So they're not just going to go left?
Huh?
They're not just going to go left?
Nope. It's out there in the fucking Sonoma wine country or whatever. I went to that race 2016 or 17. It might have been 16.
That raises a question, Ashton. Tim, is wrestling, because we've both been to shows, is wrestling better on TV or in person? And I think 100% of the time it's better in person.
In person?
Yeah.
I think this is another one, just like with NASCAR. If you're
depends.
A big wrestling fan and know move names and different things, well, actually, It depends on it.
Lem- I was gonna say, does that matter?
To some
Like you
people.
could take a non-wrestling fan, and I think they would enjoy it. I have brought like my best friend Darren. I've taken him to a big time wrestling show out here in Newark, and he had seen. I feel like everyone in the world has seen wrestling on TV. They may not know moves of names, but they know, like if they see someone grab someone from behind and go back, they go, "Oh, they're probably doing like a suplex." Like everyone knows what a suplex is. And if they see someone like throw the arm over, like, oh, they're probably going to lift them and they're going to land on their back. So they can break it down vaguely. And I think it makes it more fun to see it happen live because it's like, yeah, I can see the shit on TV, but like, holy fuck, that's in front of me.
So,
like at that wrestling show, I watched fucking Eli Everfly like fly into the crowd and fucking like hit me in the foot. It's like, what the fuck?
So I've got the perfect example. Both kids wanted to go to WWE a few years back. I got a boy, I've got a girl. My thought was, crap. My daughter's old enough where she can't be going in the boy restroom anymore. So I asked my ex to go with. I said, I'll buy your ticket. You go with, so you can be with her if she's got to go to the bathroom or this and that. And she was like, I guess. And, she's watched plenty of wrestling when we were together and everything. And we go. And she actually got into it being there live. She didn't expect to like it at all.
Yeah, because you
and
get
she was just like, that was more entertaining than I expected it to be.
It's like a fucking movie. Like, you don't, like, you see movie trailers, so you vaguely know what this movie's about going into it. And then you watch it and you're like, this is fucking cool. I've watched my friends get so invested in the smallest independent wrestlers. It's so funny. It's so good. Wrestling, if you, like, what a great first date, too, for anyone. It's like, let's go to a wrestling show. That might be fucking fun. Fuck me. Tim?
We got a super chat donation here from David Lavery. He says, Tim, did you see Kyle Busch win this past weekend? Hell yeah. You don't think I saw Kyle Busch win?
I follow you on Twitter, man.
Right here.
I feel like every other. Oh, dude, I bought that hat, by the way.
The Vegas one?
Yeah.
Nice.
$25 shipped, dude. It was really nice.
Nice.
Good lord.
Let's
take a look at the chat before I wrap up. I admit
was a March something, 1999. Winner of that race was Jeff Burton.
Only bought it because that was the year I was born. God,
nice.
I'm young.
Jeff Burton won that race. I think Gordon finished third.
Nice. I think that's going to do it, Timmy boy.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much for watching this Hangout with Tim and Nick. I've been Nick. You can follow me on Twitter at ArmWeek21. You can follow us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. Tim, where can they find you?
You can find me basically everywhere at TimmyBuddy. Find me on Twitter at TimmyBuddy. Find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. I might be streaming some Uncharted 2 later tonight. Not 100% sure. I may have some other things I got to work on. Because, PW Unlimited is not my only job. So, we'll see how that goes. If I do go live on Twitch, I'll let you guys know in the community tab here on YouTube and on my Twitter, again, at TimmyBuddy.
For sure. Thank you guys very much for tuning into the Hangout. I appreciate it. See you guys next time. And remember, call your mom. She probably misses you. Bye, folks.
Have a good night, guys.